All right, bosses. Thank you. Go over there and sit down, please. Okay, you guys. Trying to get my light on so you guys can be able to see me. 1 second. Tashawn, please get out the camera. Oh my gosh, you guys. Being, excuse me. Sorry about that. All right, I want you to be able to see me. All right, can you please close the door, buddy? Go get the iPad. All right, so I guess today is very fitting because y'all see little head popping up in here. All right, Tashawn, please sit down. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? No. Thank you. All right. Now, today we're going to be talking about how can you do real estate investing with children. So today will be very short because I want you guys to be on point. To be on point when it comes to your real estate, right? So I love that I got my little man with me and that we're able to do things. After I say this, these people probably never. Oh, and we're able to do things with our kids. And to be able to grow our business, right? And so today I want to just talk about that because it's having kids and having to structure your life pretty much around what they need and being able to put yourself in position so that you can be with them, do certain things with them is going to be what, buddy? Yeah. And so that's very important, right? And so real estate has really allowed for us to have more time with our family. And so today I just want to give you some points how you can be able to invest and still have your family. Because I understand what, baby? Because when you have a family, you guys, we already know it's very demanding for our children. And Bree, just go do your something. And so kids, like, they need us, right? My little one is sitting right next to me. Yes, please watch Hot Dog. Okay. Hot Dog. Yep. And so just having the kids and being able to do the things you want to do is a blessing. I'm not gonna lie, it's a blessing. So yeah, you see little man right here beside me. But I want to give you some ways that you can start investing even with a busy schedule and with family, because that's the most important thing. We're doing this because we want to leave a legacy for our family. And the most important way and the best way that we can do that is going to be through real estate, because we know business is going to be businessing, right? And that's going to take time for us to have to do that. But we also understand that we want to be with our family. We want to travel. We want to have a good time. And it's nothing like having your kids with you to be able to really experience life. All right. And so I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can start thinking about getting into the investing mode so that you can start getting your properties. Now, if you have been on the first live and my second live, day 1 and prep day, we talked about going over some stuff, putting yourself in position and really thinking like an investor, because that's our goal. We got to start thinking like an investor because we're living in a time. Hey, cut it out. We're living in a time now that everything is dependent on us spending money, right? Or making money. And that's because we live in a capitalist society. And we got to understand that thinking like an investor is what's going to allow for you to begin to move and maneuver in today's economy. So I want to make sure that we're really getting gear and getting started. So when we are in the boot camp, May 26th, we know, okay, we're ready to go. I'm ready to map out my plan. Mentally, I'm ready to invest and get started. But before then, I want to make sure mentally you're there in terms of an investor. So the first thing I want you to look at as an investor, and you're thinking, okay, as an investor, I have this busy schedule. How can I fit it in with my family? The best thing you can do is make sure your foundation is there. I cannot harp on that enough. The financial foundation has to be in place, right? And so there's three things that you want to look at. That's going to be your credit, your capital, and your collateral. Three things you're going to look at: credit, capital, and collateral. Now, these three things is what's going to allow for you to invest, but also is going to allow for you to understand where you stand financially right now. Because oftentimes, if we don't know where we stand right now financially, then how are we supposed to build wealth? One of the things that what the people know how to do is count. There's a difference between being able to count 1, 2, 3 and 9 times 3, right? Money counting is different. If you don't know how money moves, then you will lose money. And it doesn't matter if you're in business for yourself. It doesn't matter if you're working a W-2, you can lose money if you really don't know how to count. And so I harp on that because you got to know where your money's going, right? Going in and coming out. So if you understand how your money is moving, now you can understand how you can move, because we got to understand that as real estate investors, we're using this as our ground, right, to make things happen. But we can lose sight if we don't know where our money is. We don't know how much credit we got, all of these things. All right. So let's talk about it. The first thing that I want to talk about is the credit, because yes, you can buy a house. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Yes, you can buy an investment property without using your credit. Yes, you can do it. But here's the thing: you're going to get better terms by having better scores, which means anything from a 680 is like bare minimum all the way up, right? And we go kind of into that a little deeper in the boot camp. But this is how I want you to understand from a credit standpoint as an investor, okay? You being an investor, you want to be looking at, what is my current debt? Now, understand that when you get an investment property, they're not going to be looking at your current debt, because you're buying it as a business. You're buying it as non-occupied. So no, they will not look what's on your credit, but your debt does affect your credit score. So uh, think about it. If you use a credit card up, let's say you max out your cards, your score will drop 20, 50, 100 points just because you used up that credit line, right? And so if we thinking about credit, the debt plays into your credit score. And so understanding how where you are financially with your own debt is going to allow for you to really understand, okay, these are things that I need to work on right now, because I'm putting myself in a better position a year from now, right? Or even 6 months or 3 months or a month. And so credit is a big thing, because yes, we can buy properties without using credit. Yes, we can be able to do these alternatives, but we also want to be able to leverage our credit score. And this is one way that you could be able to do it. And so your credit score, do not go to, like, find you where it's self-reporting, not Credit Karma. I love Credit Karma because you can, I've been able to get on there and get some deals off Credit Karma, right? When I was building my credit. But if you're really, as an investor, this is something that you want to keep track of, because this is the thing: cash is king, but credit is queen. And we're not out here playing chess. We're out here playing checkers. We're not out here playing checkers. We're out here playing chess. And so y'all know queen is checkmate. The best way to checkmate anybody is that credit score. That's the simplest way I could put it, because that score is going to allow for you to get the things that you want to get. That's how we was able to use other people's money. We had to have a credit score. That is how risk is assessed. They're going to look at your credit score, right? And if you decide you don't want to use your credit score, you don't have time for that, then how do you think you're going to leverage other people's money? How are you going to do that? Right? You're going to do it by what? Leveraging your credit, showing them that you're trustworthy. But if we're not putting ourselves in position to do that, then that can deter you or push you back, because we're here to build legacies and wealth, right? That's why we're here in this challenge, because we got to start thinking like investors. The second thing that we want to talk about is capital. Look, I know we like to spend money, especially women. Y'all can chime in. We love spending money. I love spending other people's money. I am a tightwad when it comes to my own, right? I can spend, my husband give me that card, honey, I will spend it, right? But I spend it on things that will grow me versus things that will put me behind. So for instance, I stopped shopping as much, buying clothes, and I now make different type of investments. So I'll go buy, a little, put a little bit in a dividend stock versus buying clothes because you know, I'd rather do that. So it's how you're spending your money, number one, but what are you doing now with your money? Because if you're looking to think like an investor and become a real estate investor, then you got to watch how your money is being spent. So think about it. If you're shopping a lot, right? And you don't care, you just spend it, spend it, spend it, I'm swiping, swiping, swiping. Swiper, no more swiping, right? And you realize, oh shoot, I just spent like $2,000 and didn't even realize it. Guilty. Didn't even realize I just spent all that money, right? That means you're not tracking your finances. You're not keeping up with what you have. And so just think about how that translate if you were to buy when, not if, when you buy a property and you're swiping, 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 and you just went over budget with your renovation costs. So you see how mentally how you are now plays into how you're going to be as a real estate investor. So we got to tighten that up. Because lenders are going to be looking at your capital. Do you have anything available? They want to see that you have money in reserves. They want to see that you have enough to actually close this loan. They want to see that you can do what you say you're going to do on paper. It got to match up. So, as an investor, if that's the case, then you got to make sure these things are tip top and in shape so you can actually get your investment property. This doesn't even deal with even just bringing in the kids yet. And we know how kids spend a lot of money. Lord knows they will spend your whole check if you let them, right? They always got something they need or got to get. And so, or want, right? And so we got to think from that standpoint, okay, if I have to make sure my kids are good, then there's certain things that we're not going to do. We're not going to go and eat out every night, right? We're going to have a family dinner where we all cooking together. That's what we're going to do. All right. So there's just things that we got to be willing to teach our kids now because that plays into them becoming little real estate investors and little investors because it does come down to the money. It usually comes down to us not having enough money. Even if you're looking to buy a house, if you do not have the money to buy the house, how are you going to buy the house? You can't afford it. Even if you can buy the house, you can't afford it. Right? So we don't want to put ourselves in that position. So now we got to make money moves, right? Smart money moves. And then the next thing that they're going to look at as a lender, as an investor, you should also look at is collateral. What do you have that you can leverage now? What do you have that you can leverage now? Oftentimes, like, look, when we trying to leverage and buy real estate, this is all the things that the lenders are looking at, you guys. You want to know how I know? Because I do this day in and day out, residential and commercial. Day in and day out, I talk to lenders all day. All day, I'm talking to underwriters and lenders, looking at guidelines, and I'm just giving you the tea that nobody's going to give you. They're not going to tell you that they're looking at all of this. All of this is really factored into the risk and what they're willing to give you in terms of, like, for instance, like I said, credit score. You have a horrible score, they don't want to give you much money. They're like, nah, they're not good with money. Why would I? Even if you had a life situation that put you in a position that you couldn't do it, the lenders they're not checking for that. They're looking at numbers. They're counting because they want to get their investment back. And so you're that investor, you got to know your numbers. So, what collateral can you leverage now to get started? What collateral do you have that actually will allow for you to get that loan? right? Land. If you already own a home as a homeowner, right? That's how we leveraged ourselves and got into real estate investing, using our own home. That's all we did, right? And so you can use that collateral to really get started. And in the boot camp, we kind of lay out that plan a little bit more clearly for you because everybody's in different situations. We all have things going on in our life that won't allow for us to do the things we want to do now, whether that's our score, whether that's access to money, whether that's finding properties, whether that's funding it, renovations, whatever that is. All of that plays into us getting started and getting what we need so that we can make the money we want to make as an investor. And so when we start thinking about it, here's my thing. And I'm always going to say this because this is what we did. We started where we were, right? If you don't have a home right now and you're not living in a home, now I know I said, if you're following me on my social media, I said, I personally, if I was just getting started, I would have started with buying my first investment property instead of buying myself a home, right? But life be lifing, and that isn't always the case for us. But you can be able to buy your first home and get into real estate, stay in it for at least a year, and rent it out and repeat that for the next 5 years, right? So there's ways to get in if you don't have the score or don't really have the capital, because there are down payment assistance programs for homeowners. There are ways that you can get a home for little to nothing, right? With seller credits. And it's just so much that you can do from a residential side that if that's all you got to start with, start there. It's okay. And you can build yourself up while you're sitting in your house, your new house that you're gonna rent out a year or two from now. So you got to understand starting from where you are is the best place you can do. For me and my husband, look, we couldn't, this is truth. We couldn't qualify for a foreclosed trailer. I'm going to say mobile home, excuse me. Mobile home, a foreclosed mobile home. We could not qualify. And the home was only 60,000 and we couldn't even get it. We had to work on our score. We had to get our money up, aka our income, right? And we had to put ourselves in a better position to actually even just buy. So it doesn't matter where you are now. There's lenders out here that will lend you up to that are. I had a client be able to buy a house with a 500 credit score. 500. Now they had to put 20% down. That goes into that risk factor. But that goes to show you there's lenders out here that's willing to help residential buyers. So if you got to start there, start there. Start there or get your credit right. Don't allow your circumstances and the things that you have been through to stop you from making it happen. That's what I want you to understand. Like, as we're thinking like investors and really making this thing happen, doing it with a family is the best thing that I ever could have did. And so I'm gonna tell y'all a couple of things of what we had to do, because we did this part-time, built $1 million portfolio, well, it's over 1 million. I think it's like at 1.6 million right now. With I haven't even added in the new property that we just got, right? I haven't even added that into the portfolio yet. But I think 1.6 million. We are on track this year to make over, I think, over 110,000 income from just real estate. So it can happen. And we built this part-time. We literally did this in 5 years, you guys. And that's why I said you can do this too. With a busy schedule, no time. And this is how we did it, right? First thing we did, we worked on the weekends. The things that we had to do, we did it, right? Demo. We will knock down a wall real quick. Don't let the looks fool you. Okay, I will knock down a wall. I will get in there. I will pull cabinets out. I'm ready. I love doing that, right? I love doing that. So we had to get in where we could fit in. Some things because we was working on a budget, there's some things that we just could not do, right? Or pay for. So we had to do it ourselves. And so that meant us working sometimes on the weekend to do these properties. And we did it. And we were able to, like, our house, it takes us anywhere from 30 to 90 days, we'll be done with a property. That's kind of like our little mid goal right there. One property, it took us about 6 months. It was a lot to do in that property, a lot. 6 months, all working on the weekend. We did have a team, and that leads me to my second point. We found dependable people. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not trying to scare you, but this is the tea. This is for real. There's When you're first starting out, there's gonna be trials. Like, there's some people that you're gonna be like, oh my God, why did I hire them? Oh my gosh. And you're going to try to find the best way to the cheapest and the quickest, right? But sometimes that's not always the best. And we had to learn that the hard way. We learned that the hard way, okay? And that showed us, like, okay, we really got to find people that know what they're doing, right? And so over the years, we've been able to build our partner list by doing that. Because if we did not take the time to actually build out our list and at least try people, sorry y'all, it's in the middle of the day. I'm working. I got clients calling me. We got loans to close, y'all. Loans to close and houses to get. Um, so we found dependable people that allow for us to do the things that we really need to do. But it took us actually having to sit our butts down, not sit our butts down, but really dig through and find these people. And it's great because now we have a partner list of people and places that we go, and we're able to get stuff for discount. We're always looking for stuff, right? We stay looking for items. And when we find a good deal on something, don't worry, y'all got a partner for life. Because we are there, right? Because all of that plays into that. So as an investor, you got to think that goes back to credit, capital, and collateral. Finding good people or people that's not good, that's a collateral to you because that's money out your pocket, right? And that's the capital out your pocket. And you're looking at them like, bro, what you doing? You just messed my whole game up, right? So we got to find dependable people. And it may take you some time, but that's okay because you're building a business, right? You're building this empire that is going to allow for you to be free. It's okay. It's a learning lesson. You move on, right? You move on. And that's why yesterday I gave you the formula, because if you understand that, hey, I got a little wiggle room, I have a little wiggle room. So that's going to allow for me to do what I need to do. And so with a family, we had to find dependable people because we could not do all the work ourselves. Y'all, when we started out, we was working 10 to 14 hours a day by choice, right? Because we wanted to get it done so we can do that refi and get our money, right? By choice, we was doing 12 to 15 hours on the weekend while still working full-time jobs during the week. So that's what I want you to realize. Like, you don't have to start there. That's where we started because we knew capital was limited. So we had to do what we had to do at that time. And then also involve your children, right? My little man, he loves going to the properties. Now he can't do anything, but he will let us know, like, oh, nice, at 2 years old, y'all. Yeah. Watch your stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Watch your stuff. Thank you. So that's what so that's our little inspector, right? Involving your children, like having them come and do certain things. My mom, years ago, we had got a Habitat home, right? One of the things Habitat do is they tell you got to do some sweat equity. And so my mom used to have us out there sweeping. Like, we couldn't do no like construction stuff, but use that same principle. for fixing your properties up. Involve your children because, like I said, this is something that you can teach your kids. And once they learn it, they can do this for life. They can do this for life once they learn the skill. Once you learn it and you rolling, you bringing your kids in now. This is how we keep legacies going. Because the last thing I want you to do is build something that ends up going tearing down because we did not teach our children the principles, the financial principles that they need to know so that they can grow. We don't want to put ourselves in that position, right? And so we got to learn the skill and become the investor so we can create little investors. Baby, watch out. Right? It comes down to their math. Hey, I need you to put these expenses together and let me know how much total that renovation budget is. You can get your teenager to do that. Right? Or, hey, I need you to get these supplies. Hey, stop. I need you to get these supplies. I need you to go in the store and buy these supplies. And you give them your card. I've done that before with my daughter. All right? These are things that you can be doing just to get your kids involved. And you could be on the phone talking to contractors while you're buying stuff. I'm going to give y'all. And so that's why I want y'all to understand you got to start where you are, especially if you have a family. We started from where we was. And like you being able to really build out your plan and understand, okay, this Tashana is where I'm at. That's what we're doing in the boot camp. We're going to be here with each other. I need you. This is what I'm looking like, Tashana. So where can we go from here? Right? How can I really map this thing out? Because I'm talking to everybody on here, right? I can't be specific, but that's what I really want to take time to make sure we're doing that. Okay. So I want to see you in the boot camp, but we're only on day 2, y'all. Just imagine what I got in store for you for the next 28 days to get you prepped and ready to become the investor, because we will not go another year, month, or day without putting ourselves in position to make wealth happen and build a legacy like no other. And for those that don't have children, I know you probably got nieces and nephews. I know there's families you want to help, right? That's a strategy for another day that I can tell you what you can do to kind of help families and still make 6 figures a year and still make money. Now, I share with you how we're making 6 figures in income, but I ain't even share the other part of how we're making 6 figures. That's just the income part. Yeah. That's just the income part. So just imagine what you can be able to do at real estate. And that's why I love real estate. 10 toes down in it, right? Real estate can be used to buy other investments. Real estate can be used to secure that legacy. Now, disclaimer, all investments are risky. All investments. I don't care what you're doing. All investments are risky. But for me and my family, I know this works. Whether I'm telling you as an investor or a mortgage broker, it works. It works. So I'm looking to bring on a special guest soon here in a couple of days to share their story. They have a family, right? They've been doing this for a long time. And so I look forward to bringing them on. But you guys, I'm telling you, it's real. The income is real, right? You really can be able to fire your boss if you want to. You can be able to retire early if you want to. You can have the income that you want to come in, whether that's 6 figures, whether that's 80,000 a year, whatever that looks like for you. It can really be made, right? It can really be made, but you got to take the steps to begin to not look like an investor, but think like an investor so that you can build your wealth now. All right. So I look forward to you being in the boot camp so we can build your roadmap on May 26th. And until then, you slay every day with style. Bye, boss. You better get off my tablet, y'all.